Hi class, my name is Andrea Morell, and for our final paper, I am researching the effects of what possible abuse as a younger child, early teen, how that could affect your view of healthy sexuality as an adult, if it makes a person more apt to act out in a risky type of behavior where they have multiple partners, or possibly unprotected sex, or just anything that basically would go against God's plan. Unfortunately, this is something that I do know something about personally. When I was 15, I was taken advantage of by a person that I knew forcefully, and I was too young to be able to handle it. I cried and cried for days. Couldn't really go to my mom about it, or my dad for that matter. Didn't even really turn to any friends for several days. So I truly just kind of kept it and held it inside for way too long. And unfortunately, what that did to me then, it caused a lot of the negative feelings and the sadness and the guilt to fester in me. I didn't deal with it at the time, therefore it caused problems later. So that being said, this topic is something that is interesting to me, does make me feel like I'm not alone, which, I mean, we all know that that's important. And then I also am just hoping and praying that through some of my research, I can help others that have dealt with the same thing, or at the very least, at least teach my children how they can possibly help, and to not be somebody that's a perpetrator either. I've looked up a few different articles, and one of them definitely does say that in people that have had an abusive situation sexually before the age of 17, that there are more reported sexual risk behaviors in adulthood, which means in this report that I read that basically it just means that yes, it did cause the issue. And what I'd like to dig deeper into is why. Obviously, guilt has something to do with it, as does probably background of religious background. I know I grew up as a Christian in a Bible-believing home, and obviously was taught that sex before marriage was not good. So in this instance where I had this taken away from me, obviously feelings of guilt came into play, and I would like to, I guess, expound on that a little bit as to why this would be. Why are we not taught grace more? I also another fact that I found very interesting was that women that have been sexually abused actually, or have higher feelings of guilt, they actually are the ones that are pregnant before they're married too. Found that very interesting as well. It may not work its way into my paper, but that was just an interesting fact that I did find. In using the article from Tim Keller that Professor Lamb sent to us, I also am going to kind of wrap up my paper with the fact that we are all sinners. We all fall short of the grace of God, and that we none of us are sinning worse than others. I find this very important in my healing as well as others, and I'm looking forward to digging deeper into this. Thank you.